American Fork High School for High School Rewind's coverage of the 2015 Utah Elite Eight basketball tournament. I am Dusty Litster. Thanks for joining us. A rematch of last year's first round game, Skyview and American Fork. Welcome everybody, so glad to have you along with us. Got a fun one here in a revenge game, an opportunity for American Fork to get a win over Skyview. Last year, in the first round of this tournament, Skyview knocked off American Fork. It was a surprise game, and in that game, it was Jake Hendricks who hit 7 3-pointers, including the game winner for the Skyview Bobcats to knock off American Fork in the tournament. And tonight they'll take them on as both teams lost yesterday. American Fork, this is a team that we know who they have. Everybody talks about Brendan Bailey, but the guy we have to talk about and always talk about is Spencer Johnson. He does everything for the Cavemen, and he'll have to do it again today. As Jake Hendricks had a tough night last night, we expect him to step up and play big in this one. Bryce Mortensen is another key one, number 13. He had a terrific game last night. He had 20 points in the first half against Bingham. Just couldn't quite keep the pace up as Jake Hendricks had to struggle the first half, or struggle throughout the game. But we expect him again to play really well in this one. We know our teams, a couple of things to look out for. When we come back, it'll be opening tip-off. You're watching High School Rewind's coverage of the 2015 Utah Elite Eight basketball tournament on highschoolrewind.com. Bailey and Mortensen jump it, controlled by the Cavemen. Benji Judd will track it down, and we'll start with American Fork. It was a tough start last night as Brendan Bailey misses the J. And we go down the floor with Hendricks. Hendricks coming into the tournament was averaging 27 points a game to start the year. Had a terrific first game, as you mentioned last night. Didn't have his best night, but nothing that hurts his reputation. The kid will go play somewhere. Inside Mortensen. Mortensen off the glass, can't get it to go. Benji Judd with the board. On the push with the Cavemen. Judd over to Bailey. Brandon in the lane, fall away jumper short. And the rebound grabbed by Max Christensen, now to Bregan Holbrook. Holbrook fires it into Mortensen. Reverses and scores. We know Bryce Mortensen has good hands. 85 receptions on the football field, 18 touchdowns. Hucks now to Judd. Johnson, the baseline jumper.
15-foot jumper good for Spencer Johnson.
Quickly ahead, Judd hit that. Should be out of bounds off of American Fork. It is. We'll stay here with Skyview. Bregan Holbrook to White. High post with Mortensen. Got to go to the hole. Hucks knocked it away from him. Mortensen loses the handle, and we will go the other way. Benji Judd up top with Rawson. Now Johnson. Bailey will pull and hit. 5-2 the lead for American Fork. Holbrook up top with White. Lob it up to Mortensen. Nice job. And Bryce Mortensen with 4 points. Here's Brendan Bailey. Crosses over Mortensen. Fall away jumper is good. And an outstanding start for Brendan Bailey. 7-4. And Mortensen on the other end. We're just exchanging points. Mortensen and Bailey. Timeout taken by Coach Meacham. 5:20 remaining in the first quarter. Cavemen 7, Bobcats 6. It's out of the timeout. Brimhall enters the lineup for Rawson. Here's Hucks up top to George Brimhall. Now Benji Judd. Trap comes. Holbrook and White got him. Hands back to Brimhall. Now to Bailey. 4-3 off the mark. And rebound taken by Mortensen. On the push now with Hendricks. Hendricks terminates and gets it up top to Holbrook. Here's Mortensen. Now side to Holbrook. Drop it into Max Christensen. Christensen is fouled along the baseline. That'll be the first team foul on AF. Outside Holbrook. Here's Christensen. Now Hendricks. Holbrook for three. And that rolls off. Max Christensen with the board. He's fouled. They'll go to the line to shoot two. Christensen missed the first. Max, an outstanding football player. Misses the second. Had 100 tackles and 13 and a half sacks on the season. Judd loses the handle, gets it back. In the corner to Brimhall. Drop it into Judd, and he traveled. We'll go the other way with the Bobcats. Up the floor, Hendricks. Hendricks, nice take. Oh, the ball just crawled out. That was a beautiful finish going with the left hand. Hucks on the other end, lays it up and in.
How about the assist from Spencer Johnson?
What a pass from Spencer Johnson. And Hucks extends the lead 9-6. Hendricks cross court to White. Pulls for three. We're tied at 9. White's had a pretty nice tournament. One of the guys that does all the little things, doesn't need all the publicity. As Brendan Bailey knocks down his second triple. An outstanding start for Brendan Bailey. Something that's really plagued him throughout his career. Just been slow starts to games. But Bailey's starting out fast. But to see him now start up, he's missed just a couple of shots to get started, a couple of trays and some fall-away jumpers, and he's got 10 points. Here's Mason Ty. Now Hendricks. Hendricks over to Mortensen. Bryce working on George Brimhall. No call on the contact. Rebound to Johnson. Johnson, give it up. Whitehead send out to Condi. Nobody wants to pull the trigger. Floater down the lane for Spencer Johnson. 5-point ball game. 14-9 the lead for the Cavemen. Holbrook, nice find to Christensen. And we got a charge along the baseline. And we will go the other way with American Fork. 2.5 remaining in the first quarter. Braden Condi. Now to Spencer Johnson. And we got a foul on the floor, and that'll go against White. And we'll inbound along the baseline. Second team foul on Skyview. Here's Condi up top of Brimhall. Lob in to Bailey. Got Mortensen off his feet, and we'll go to the line to shoot two. And Brendan Bailey knocks them both down. Unofficially, I have him with 12 points here in the quarter. Hendricks. Nice find down low. McCray reverses and scores. And it's a 5-point game. Condi. Bailey for three. Off the mark, rebound taken by Hendricks. Jake on the run. Nice find down low to White. Can't get it to go. Brimhall with the board. Johnson to the rack and finishes.
Spencer Johnson with the finger roll.
Let me see that finger roll. Spencer Johnson right to the rim. Cross court to White for three. Back rimmed. Christensen tipped it out. Mortensen claims it. Goes up, can't score. Brimhall with the board. Quickly head Condi to Whitehead. Whitehead fouled by Hendricks. It'll be 2 free throws for Whitehead. And that'll be the first personal foul on Jake Hendricks. And it'll be the 4th team foul on the Bobcats. Or pardon me, that's the 4th team foul. Holbrook comes on for White. First was off the mark for Brimhall. And he back rims the second. And Christensen and Hendricks were fighting over the board. And we'll come up the floor now with Jake Hendricks. Hendricks in the corner to Holbrook. inside to Mortensen. Got 3 guys around him. Hendricks rattles home the long range 2. And now with the steal, Hendricks to McCray for 3. And Johnson comes away with the board. He's quickly ahead to Brendan Bailey, and a 2-handed flush for Brendan Bailey. A deep 3 from Hendricks, online but short. And a rebound to Condi. Condi, baseball pass to Whitehead. Scoop it, oh, man alive. That would have been a highlight reel finish. He's fouled on the reverse layup. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. Whitehead got the first. Just a little shy on the second. Apologize about the scoreboard. 21-13. 15 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Hendricks hanging out up top. 10 seconds, and that ball picked up by Johnson going the other way. Johnson sizing it up and gets it. 2 seconds remaining. Count if it goes. And that'll do it for the first quarter. And it's 23-13 at the end of 1. Start of the second quarter, and we'll start the Bobcats. Trailing by 10. Here's Hendricks. Now Holbrook. Keeping along the perimeter. Christensen. Send out McCray. And now Hendricks will pull for a deep 3. It's short. The rebound was grabbed by Johnson. And we'll go down the floor off the foul. Bailey will come back on the floor after a short breather. It's Isaac Johnson, number 40. Younger brother, but not smaller brother to Spencer Johnson. Outside, Whitehead. Drop it inside to Spencer Johnson. Spencer trapped along the baseline, traveled. And we will go the other way. We'll see if Skyview can find some offense. Been sputtering to get started. Max Christensen, the ball rattles out. Isaac Johnson with the board, clears to Spencer. Bailey for a deep 3. Brendan Bailey's feeling it. One of the best games I've seen him play. Brendan Bailey lighting it up. One of the few games his father, Thurl Bailey, gets to make it to, as he's on the pre and post for the Utah Jazz. He's in the building tonight. And Brendan putting on a show. Brendan ahead. Isaac Johnson just a little too far. And we will go the other way with Skyview. So down the floor we go with Holbrook. Christensen outside to White. Now McCray. He's got Holbrook, McCray, Mason Ty, Max Christensen, and Jake White on the floor. And there's a turnover from Mason Ty on the push. Braden Condi leaves it for Rawson. Condi for a deep 3. That's off the mark. Rebound still loose, out of bounds, and we will go the other way. Up the floor with Holbrook. And we got a foul away from the ball. That goes against Skyview. For American Fork. Condi to Bailey. He'll pull up for 2, back rim. Now on the push with Braden Holbrook. Ty now in the corner to White. Here's White, back up top. And we got a foul on the play. Carter Barish was fouled. Here's Jake White. And across to Holbrook. We'll see where the offense comes in this set for Coach Hilliard. Not a lot of offensive options out there. Here's White. And now Barish. Everything along the perimeter for Skyview. Been a tough start. They've yet to score here in the second quarter. In fact, there's only been 3 points in the quarter. 4:20 on a rolling clock. White for three. Off the mark. Rebound grab by Johnson. Now ahead with Benji Judd. Judd leaves it for Spencer Johnson. Front rim and a rebound out to Hucks. Try to go right back inside to Judd. And we will stay here with the Cavemen. Brendan Bailey gets into Judd. But a sleepy second quarter. Bailey off the mark there. Fossil with the board on the push with Hendricks. Barish. Now Hendricks. Here's Foslev, sends out, three on the way from Barish, and Carter Barish buries a triple. 10-point game, 26-16. First points of the quarter for Skyview. Johnson up top to Brendan Bailey. Judd in the corner to Spencer Johnson. Now Benji Judd. Inside out, Judd for three, back rim. Johnson with the offensive board. Brendan Bailey, follow-away jumper won't go. Rebound still loose, tracked down by Jake Hendricks. Hendricks on the push. Hendricks couldn't get that one to fall. Rebound still loose. Hendricks got it back. High off the glass. Cannot find the bottom of the net. And they got a loose ball foul on the rebound against Jake White. And we'll go the other way with American Fork. It'll be free throws. That is a 17th foul on the Bobcats. 28-16 as Brendan Bailey ate the mushroom. That's a Super Mario Brothers reference, those of you who don't know. 28-16. On the baseline. Send up top to Barish. Hendricks in the corner to Holbrook. Nice defense from American Fort. Barish now to Mortensen. Baseline jumper. No! The putback dunk from Hendricks didn't go. Steal from Mortensen. Now Foslev gives it up to Hendricks. Hendricks trying to find inside to Foslev. Knocked out of bounds by Bailey. Nice hustle by Hucks. But we'll stay here. High post, Foslev has the ball poked away by Benji Judd. And now we'll have a jump ball. Possession arrow belongs to American Fort. 12-point lead in a low-scoring quarter. 5 points for the Cavemen, 3 for Skyview. Just under a minute and a half remaining in the first half. Johnson out to Hucks. Inside out to Bailey. Here Brimhall. Cross to Johnson. Raises for three. Back rim and a rebound claimed by Foslev. Quickly down the floor with Jake Hendricks. Hendricks cross to Barish for three. His second. Barish has all 6 points in the quarter. And it's 28-19, 50 seconds remaining in the half. Got to find offense wherever you can find it. Kudos to Coach Hilliard going deep into his bench as Barish is listed on the sophomore roster. .30 seconds remain. 28-19, the lead for the Cavemen. 6 points in the quarter. Remember, no shot clock in high school basketball. Take as long as they need, including the last 45 seconds. 10 seconds remaining. Hucks on the angle to Judd. Judd drives the baseline, and he's fouled on the drive. It'll be 1-on-1 free throws for Benji Judd. Judd hits them both. 1 second. The count if it goes from Hendricks, and it finds the front of the iron. And at the half, it's American Fork 30. The Skyview Bobcats 19. Start of the second half, and we start with the Skyview Bobcats. A little offensively challenged in the first half as Bryce Mortensen gets his first point since the beginning part of this ball game. And the +1 rattles out. Christensen battles for the board up top, Holbrook. Bragg into Bryce, and nobody home on that pass. And Christensen gives chase to keep Johnson, giving the easy 2. And it's a turnover. It's up the floor with American Fork. The first half is all about Brendan Bailey. Brendan was 5 of 12 from the floor for 17 points. Rawson trapped in the corner. The Hucks outside Benji Judd. Benji sent out Bailey. Johnson to Judd. Nobody home on the pass. Bailey will track it down. And backcourt. Really, really hilarious. Hendricks, nice defense from Benji Judd. Now Christensen, he had a bucket. He's had to turn and lay it up. Max gets doubled by Judd, ball's loose. Hucks sends it ahead to Johnson. And Johnson lays it up and in. Missed chance there. Max Christensen has to turn to the hoop just like he did right there, and he has 2 points. 32-23. 6.5 remaining in the third quarter. Spencer Johnson was 4 of 6 from the floor, had 8 points. So you mentioned Brendan Bailey, that good first half. He was 3 of 6 from three-point range as well, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. Cross court to Hucks, in the corner to Bailey. Bailey along the baseline. Got through the contact to Max Christensen. That was a big boy finish there from Brendan Bailey. And it's 34-23. Inside Bryce Mortensen, he's fouled by Braden Condi. And it'll be free throws for Mortensen. It's out of the timeout. Nice drive sent out to Bailey. Jumper short. Christensen with the board, down the floor with Hendricks. Hendricks hard to the hole and scores. Best way to get going for Jake Hendricks to start going to the bucket. If it's not falling, just get into rhythm, get that confidence level up. Here comes Hucks. Condi for 3. Braden Condi buries a triple. And that ball through the hands of Holbrook. Said he didn't touch it. We'll stay here. Here's Hendricks in the corner. Now back up top. Christensen cross to White. And we got a foul on Brimhall. Here's Hendricks. Drop inside Mortensen, working on Bailey. Couldn't get it to go, gets his own board, goes back up with the foul from Brimhall. And it's a +1 opportunity for Bryce Mortensen. And Mortensen with the bucket and the +1. 37-29. Johnson along the baseline. Here's Brimhall. Four and a half remaining here in the third quarter. Johnson working on White, send out to Condi. Nice take by Benji Judd. And it's a 10-point ball game. Trying to go inside, kicked out of bounds by Judd, and will stay here. And that ball tipped away, taken by Johnson, now on the run with Bailey. Ahead to Brimhall. Off the window, and good. And that's a 12-point game. Other way, Mortensen. Send out Holbrook. And now White on the baseline. Christensen sent out Hendricks again, hard to the hole. Blocked by Bailey. Mortensen couldn't get the finish. Gets his own board, a little stat stuffer. And it's 41-31. What a block by Bailey. Judd working on Holbrook, send out to Brimhall. And George on the drive and wipe off the, wouldn't have been a shot anyway, on the floor and will inbound along the baseline. Bailey inbounds to Johnson. Johnson working on Hendricks. Nice move, and Hendricks thought he had a block, fouls Johnson. It'll be 2 free throws coming away of Spencer Johnson. Johnson made the first. Missed the second. Here's White up top to Hendricks. White pulls for 3, and White buries the triple. The second 3 for Luke White. He's 2 of 5 from three-point range. Saved in to Mortensen. He had White ahead, but Mortensen couldn't get his head up. He had McCray on the right. Missed opportunities for the Bobcats. Send out to Mason Ty. Ty out to McCray. And back to Hendricks. Cross court, White for 3. Well short. I don't know the depth on that side of the court. We've seen that a lot tonight. Johnson the other way. Takes the bump and foul from Jake White. It'll be free throws for Spencer Johnson.
Second one drops.
43-34. Hendricks. And he got a foul on Mason Ty. Moved on that screen. Huck's working on McCray. Poked away by McCray. Gets it back. McCray tracked down, lays it up and in. Nice effort from Hucks, but McCray able to finish. 43-36. Oh, another way, and McCray tracks him down and gets the block. And we'll inbound along the baseline. Bailey. Oh, nice job. Got Mortensen off his feet. Oh, missed the bucket. Johnson couldn't get it. And Mortensen clears the rebound. 2 point-blank range shots. Caveman couldn't get him to fall. Holbrook 4-3. And Bailey pulls down the board. Off the window, couldn't get it. Ty on the push. Mason goes through Hucks. And they call it offensive.
Take out your MasterCard, because that's a charge.
But either way, it's a foul on the Bobcats, their 5th team foul in the third quarter. 4 on American Fort. Condi off the glass. Was open for the +1, didn't get it. White, now Holbrook, 55 seconds remaining in the quarter. Mortensen underneath and won't go in. There'll be 2 free throws for Bryce Mortensen. Bryce missed the first, has another. Rims out the second. 45 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Whitehead working on Ty. Got a foul on Mason Ty. That'll be the 16th foul. We'll have free throws the entire fourth quarter for American Fort. And a 5-second call. Good defense by Skyview. Again, in this ballgame, Hendricks trying to get himself going. Found some success slashing to the hoop. Inside to Holbrook, can't get it out. 3 defenders right there. Hucks tracks down a loose ball. 10 seconds remaining in the quarter. In the corner, Condi for 3. Braden Condi knocks down the triple. This will count if it goes. If Falsov gets it off, and he doesn't. So Skyview, no shot to close the third quarter. At the end of 3, it's American Fort 48, Skyview 36. Start of the fourth quarter. A 12-point lead for American Fort. Trying to avenge a loss from last year. Bailey loses the handle on the drive, and we will go with the Bobcats. Just a few years ago, the magical run of the Bobcats in the state tournament. Barely got into the state tournament. Jalen Moore and the Bobcats rolled their way to a state title. Holbrook nearly brought rain with that one, but couldn't get it to fall. On the push now with Hucks. Condi off the bench hits 3 threes. Has a lot of experience in his career. Speaking of Braden Condi, been playing since he was a sophomore. Isaac Johnson off the deflection. And it's now 50-36. Hendricks. Now Holbrook. McCray. And Skyview still trying to find some offense, and Hendricks can't get the bounce. Rebound to White, but can't finish. And then cleared by Bailey. Brandon on the drive. Brandon to the rim.
That's good.
And it's now a 16-point lead. Almost entering the danger zone. The first 2 games of today was an 18-point lead by Mountain Crest, lost, and then they lost in overtime. And then a 20-point lead for Layton over Olympus, and Olympus came back to win in overtime. Bailey, a deep 3, and a rebound grab by Bregan Holbrook. In the corner to White. Now Hendricks. McCray for 3 off the mark. Rebound grabbed by Whitehead. Bailey pulls again for 3 and finds the bottom. Timeout, Coach Hilliard. 5:40 remaining in the fourth quarter. Cavemen 55, Bobcats 35. Copper Hills Bingham championship game of the Utah Elite 8 will be coming up next. Should be a good one. It'll be Porter Hawkins versus Yoli Childs. Fouls on Braden Condi, his second. And we'll have free throws remainder of the way on both sides. White. That was Carter Barish, who hit 2 threes in the second quarter. Holbrook well short. And now on the run with Whitehead over to Condi. In the corner. Hucks dropping inside to Whitehead. Morrison leaves his feet twice, but then gets to claim the rebound as Whitehead could not finish. On the push now, Bregan Holbrook. Here's Barish. Holbrook on the drive underneath. Oh, nice find, and Morrison couldn't finish. You never see Bryce Morrison miss these shots. He's missed a lot of them tonight. On the other end, Johnson can't finish. On the push now with White. White's fall away. Jay crawls in. $17-point lead. Condi now up top of Spencer Johnson inside of 4 minutes, down to 3 minutes and 55 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. We've had comebacks in every game, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen in this one. As Dallin Hucks lays it up and in, 19-point lead once again. Morrison lines up for three, and Morrison knocks it down. Another one of Garrison Beach's wide receivers on this basketball team, Zach Morrison. As Condi will hang out near midcourt stripe. Spencer Johnson. You're going to get called for the charge. And we will go the other way with Skyview. Back down the floor, here's Morrison. Just hit it 3 moments ago, now Barish. Foslev. Morrison sends out to Morrison, and Bryce Morrison lays it up and in. 14-point game. Getting close to striking distance. 2:40 remaining. Wide open three for Condi, and Braden Condi knocks down his fourth three. Speaking of the best game we've seen play, this is the best game I've seen Braden Condi play. 4 triples. Judd going to take it all away himself. Is fouled by Barish and is slow to get up. 61-43. Morrison in the corner to Foslev. And on turnover, Brimhall tracks it down, can't finish. Rebound claimed by Foslev. Foslev on the push. Barish. Still looking. In the corner to Meekum. 3 on the way from Foslev off the mark. Rebound grabbed by Rawson. Stolen by Meekum. Saved right in the hands of Ryan Reed. Isaac Johnson pulls for long range 2. Can't get it. Foslev loses the handle, and we will stay here. Inbound into Isaac Johnson. And Isaac Johnson, the big fella, steps outside and shows some range. Some history that of Mr. Rawson, and of course Ryan Andrus was a 5 that would come down and hit that top of the key 3, and did it so last year as a freshman for Coach Dave Rose of BYU. Foslev will pull for 3. Back rim. Off the rebound. Couldn't get it to drop. Was Michael Paulson. And then a foul on McWhorter. And we'll have free throws coming up for Michael Paulson. Paulson splits the pair. 20-point game, 35 seconds remaining. Up the floor with Ryan Reed. Now McWhorter. And a nice win for Coach Doug Meacham and the American Fork Cavemen. Struggle a little bit in this tournament. Nobody home on that pass for Isaac Johnson. They struggled a little bit. Had 2 tough games, Mountain Crest, and then yesterday against Copper Hills. But come out and get an impressive win over Skyview. The Cavemen avenge their loss from a year ago. And that's a 64-44 win, American Fork over Skyview. A nice game from Brennan Bailey. And we will step aside and be back with our player of the game. Again, our final score, American Fork 64, Skyview 44. And welcome back into American Fork High School. Again, American Fork gets a win, 64-44 over Skyview. In this game, we really thought it'd be a high-scoring game. One side lived up to it. Jake Hendricks, once again, just struggled a little bit offensively to get things going. Never quite found himself in a rhythm offensively as far as his jump shot went. Did drive the bucket a little bit. But when you look at this game, it's all about the way that Brennan Bailey started the game. He started out red hot, had double digits in the first quarter, ended up having a terrific night, over 20 points. He scored, he's our high school rewind player of the game, but had an outstanding game on both ends of the floor. Thought he did a great job. Spencer Johnson has had better nights, but it really was Braden Condi, in my opinion, came off the bench, did an outstanding job, hit 4 threes, some of which just helped space the game out as Skyview's making a little bit of a run. And for the Bobcats, there's still a lot to learn about that team as well. I think they'll contend, obviously, within Region 1. They got things to figure out with all these guys moving pieces and just getting Jake Hendricks a lot more help. Bryce Mortensen didn't have his typical game tonight either. So just the 3rd game in 3 nights, and one team playing a little bit sharper than another, and one getting to sleep in their beds and the other one having to live in a hotel room. But I tell you what, a great win for American Fork, a team that will contend in Region 4, will contend within the 5A classification as well. And it's good to see Brendan Bailey to get off the way he did to start this ball game, as it could propel him to better things throughout the year. A young man committed to Marquette. Well, again, our final score, the American Fork Cavemen 64, the Skyview Bobcats 44. Our high school rewind player of the game, Brennan Bailey. The young man had a terrific game. For Vince Francis, I'm Dusty Lister. Thanks for joining us and watching our coverage of the 2015 Utah Elite 8 basketball tournament right here on highschoolrewind.com.